Sophie Little with you tonight. Hope you're well. You're listening to BBC Radio Norfolk. Thanks for joining us. This hour, we are going to be going underground in North Walsham. We're meeting the filmmaker who has been with an archaeology student. They've been going to the sort of like High Street area of North Walsham and having a look at the potential that there's lots of tunnels that link up under there. Lots of rumours like that all across Norfolk. But our guest, Chris Richmond, is going to be telling us all about this film that he's made in North Walsham very shortly. He's a really interesting person as well, from bell ringing to making music and soundscapes and all sorts, so we'll have lots to chat about. And it's Sophie Little with you tonight. My next guest is someone who we've spoken to on a whole variety of topics on the evening shows before. He's called Chris Richmond, and he's a bell ringing enthusiast. He's been compiling records of all the bells in Norfolk. He's also created Norfolk soundscapes through lots of walks on lockdown. And luckily, we've got him back tonight to talk about yet another project that he's got up his sleeve. This time, Chris has been filmmaking along with an archaeology student to find out all about tunnels that may or may not be beneath the shops in North Walsham. He's on the line to tell me more about it. Hi, Chris.
Good evening.
Thanks for joining us again tonight. Great to talk to you. I do like what we're saying here is yet another project up your sleeve. Is there anything that you don't do?
Well, I'm a bit of an enigma, aren't I? So
absolutely.
Yeah, always got plenty on.
Oh, well, that's a good way to be, I guess. But very interesting things and a lot to talk about. Tonight in particular, we are talking about this new film that you've put together as part of a series that you do. So tell me a bit about the series first and how it all started.
Right, the series, well, it pretty much just showcases all the interesting things that I get up to. All the topics sort of rolled into one thing. One of my passions, of course, is filmmaking, and it's ideal to showcase some of these things that I get up to. And this time we go underground in North Walsham.
And so what led you to being interested in North Walsham in particular and going underground? How did this all come about?
Right, well, I've known of Jake for several years. He's been one of my long-standing followers on YouTube, and we have sort of similar interests. He got in touch with me to tell me he was doing this project in North Walsham, and again, it's something I've not heard before, and being underground, well, that whets the appetite straight away, so it just sort of it went from there.
And so Jake's an archaeology student, isn't he? Yes. And so, what's his connection with an underground sort of? Keep saying potential tunnels because I know that they haven't actually been physically explored as such yet. But what's his connection with it?
Well, he's a local lad. Unfortunately, we can't speak to him directly because he's should be enjoying himself on a camping week. It's his birthday this week, so yeah. But he'd heard the stories many years ago about the rumours of tunnels. I mean, I think every town in Norfolk's got rumours of tunnels. But he decided, being an archaeology student, that he'd go out and see if there was any truth in the legend.
And so, I guess you sort of said about whetting the appetite when you're talking about underground. What do you think is our fascination with tunnels? Because I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. I mean, it's probably just because it's mysterious. It's not what we're sort of used to, is it? And it makes you wonder because it's not in our day-to-day or most of our daily lives. It's just, it's fascinating, different.
Absolutely. I think, Chris, what I might do is I've got a clip here from the film that you've made. It's a couple of minutes long. Yep. I think we should have a listen to it. Obviously, just the audio. I know it's a film. And then we'll have a chat about it on the other side. You all right with that?
Yeah.
Here we go then.
Right, so here we are on our way to North Walsham. However, I know very little about the subterranean history of the town, so it'll be interesting to see what Jake's got in store for us.
I meet Jake outside the imposing St Nicholas Church, said to be the oldest surviving building in the town.
Right, hello Jake. Now there are stories of tunnels all over Norfolk. So how did you discover here in North Walsham there is actually truth in the legend?
Okay, so I grew up here in town, and being younger here in town, you hear a lot of stories of tunnels, that sort of absurd stories, tunnels that sort of go out to Bacton or Napton, sort of miles and miles worth of tunnels. So growing up, I thought I'd see if there's any truth behind those tales.
It's market day, and our first location is Page's Confectioners and Tobacconists.
So this is Colin Page's cellar underneath the tobacconist on North Walsham High Street. This would have been a home, this would have been where somebody lived, as extraordinary as that may sound. A few features for here, for example, here we've got a bread oven, which is all connected through. A lot of the cellars have these old bread ovens, still a lot of bits and bobs laying around. And we're currently underneath the footpath outside the shop, and this here is quite evidently a bricked up portal. How far underneath the high street it would have gone, no idea. Fourth and final cellar, one of the more interesting ones. This has the potential to be one of the oldest cellars in the town. We'll look at this side cellar here first, for example. The style of archway that is used here is known as Gothic. So you've got the second archway here. This incorporates an extremely old timber, which quite interestingly is all charred and burnt on the underside here. The reason why that's interesting is it might allude to the Great Fire of North Walsham, which happened in 1600.
It's been an interesting day delving beneath the streets of North Walsham. But what's next for Jake and his fascinating project?
Well, I guess, can you answer your own question there, Chris? What is next for him? What's he up to?
Well, we will see. He's currently just finishing off compiling his report. He's got all the photographs and that to lay over it, but that should be available very soon on the North Walsham Community Archive.
And do you find yourself, having made the film and been down there with Jake, and obviously having chatted to him a lot about it, do you think it's quite a compelling theory that there are tunnels under there?
Oh yes, I mean, we saw for ourselves that there is evidence of sort of portals that are bricked up, but you just don't know. You can't see beyond them. So until things sort of develop and you can sort of figure out a way to go beyond there, we just don't know.
It's such a fascinating thing to imagine, isn't it, as well, and where they may go. I wonder if one day they'll be explored. And how? Tell me a little bit about your filmmaking process with it, because one of the things I really like about the films that you make is the sort of audio soundtrack that goes along with it, and I know that you're very much a fan of sounds and audio yourself, so is it something that you make as you go along? Do you have a bank of stuff that you've made before that you use?
It's a bit of both. Because I've been making films now for over 10 years, so I've actually built up quite a unique library of stock music. Of course, I'm always out recording sounds. A lot of the sounds you hear in my films are on location, so there's no trickery there. But yeah, I'm just a one-man band sort of thing.
That's what we like about it, though, Chris. And this is a film that people can go and watch themselves, can't they? So whereabouts is the best place to go and do that? I know that it's on the Norfolk on Film website.
Oh, yes, Gary's put it on there. It's also on the North Walsham Archive website, as well as on my YouTube channel. Just search for Chris Richmond or Norfolk Curiosity and it will be on there.
What else is in the pipeline for you film-wise at the moment, Chris?
Well, I can't really say a lot. That'd be spoiling the fun, won't it? We'll just have to keep our ears to the ground on that and see what I come up with next.
Absolutely. Well, we are very much awaiting that eagerly. I have to ask you a few bits about your other projects while I have you on the line. I know that you've covered them on the evening show before, but tell us a little bit about your bell ringing project.
Well, it's pretty much on hold at the moment due to all these restrictions. Church bells aren't really being rung at the moment. Social distancing and all that isn't helping, as well as a lot of the older ringers aren't particularly keen to get back in the towers just yet, so that's just on hold at the moment, but we're looking to continue that as soon as we're able to.
And you've been out on foot, haven't you, creating soundscapes too?
Yes, always stuff to record. The changing seasons, I mean, a lot of the birds have stopped singing now, but we certainly got some wonderful material throughout the spring and early summer there.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that autumn and winter will throw up some more interesting sounds that you'll be recording with your soundscapes as well. Chris, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
No, thanks for having me.
I urge anybody to go and watch your new film, because it's really fascinating, especially if you're like us and you're interested in the underground whets your appetite, as you put it, Chris. I liked that.
Oh, yes.
You'll be back on soon again, I'm sure, especially with new film projects. So thanks for joining us. Speak to you again soon.